Friday. I'm going on vacation on Monday, but I will be looking forward to the Breaking History podcast, which my next guest, Eli Lake, hosts every week. Eli is a contributor to the Free Press, but the Breaking History podcast is the highlight of my week. The most recent one is part 2 on the red-green revolution of Iran. Eli, that was fabulous and very timely. Thank you for that. Did you listen to Prime Minister Netanyahu talk to Bill Hemmer last night about Iran?
I caught the YouTube highlights, yes.
So when Netanyahu says thousands, even hundreds of thousands of Iranians are reaching out to him and making the mistake, I would think, of sending them their name and phone number, do you believe him that there is that much unrest in Iran right now?
I believe that there is a huge contingent of Iranians who would like to find as many allies as they can to unseat the Islamic Republic and the regime that currently rules over them or purports to rule them. And I would say that what we're seeing is the tail of a strategy that goes back at least a decade for the Israelis and Netanyahu to begin to directly try to communicate through social media with the Iranian people. And I wrote about this several years ago, but the results that the Israelis have seen is that there's been enormous engagement because there is a kind of element there of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so I would say the vast majority of Iranians today would like another government. Their government hates Israel, so therefore they like Israel. And I have to say, I was in Iran 22 years ago on the eve of the Iraq War, and I spent about a week and a half there. And when I was there, I met with students who were telling me, as a journalist, anonymously, but they met with me and they said that they did not believe what their government said about Israel, and they knew I was Jewish. So this was in 2003, I should say the end of 2002. So it doesn't really surprise me that you sort of see the cause that animates this regime, which is the annihilation of Israel, has turned off the population. I completely
There would be
understand
a
that.
wonderful thing if after 50 years of Khomeiniist and Khamenei rule that the people revolted before the supreme leader dies so he could see it crumble. He's already seen it crumbled. Eli, I want to switch on you, though. Yeah, my wish, too. Michael Ledeen is looking down and saying, faster, please. Yeah. So, Eli, yes. What did you make of the decision of the Israeli Security Cabinet to take Gaza City? Give it back, but take it.
I understand that was the headline today. I still think that there are some details, and I'm still not sure whether this is part of a kind of game of chicken with Hamas. But I think that the understanding here is to simplify it as much as I can. The only way out is through. So the argument against it is the world hates Israel right now, and now you're doing this. They're telling all the signs, from Europe and the American Democratic Party and everything like that are, you have to stop. It's too much. Take the win. And I think what Netanyahu realizes that if Hamas retains any kind of power, it's like leaving a little bit of cancer. And so the world's going to, the voracious public enmity towards Israel and in terms of public opinion throughout a lot of the world right now will not be abated if Israel decides to sort of bend to their capricious whim. That said, I also think that he's got to concern himself, and here I'm basing this on the analysis of Haviv Redekor and other Israelis who I think have been very level-headed. The IDF, which is, there is a draft in Israel, and some of these reservists are going on their 5th and 6th tours. There is a kind of exhaustion that is kicking in. So he has, I think, a real struggle with the institution of the Israel Defense Forces. At the same time, I just think that, this was the same reaction that we saw from the same usual suspects when the Israelis went into Rafah. That turned out to be a success, and the catastrophe that was predicted did not happen. So again, I'm waiting to sort of see here. The one thing I will say is that it's pretty obvious at this point that the big difference is that under Joe Biden, Bibi had to fight Israel's most important ally, along with the rest of world opinion. Under Trump, I think Trump and the Trump administration, Ambassador Huckabee, Steve Witkoff, they are 100% aligned behind Israel's goals at this point. And I think there is an understanding between Trump and Netanyahu that there's the negotiations with Hamas at this point are pointless, and that at this point, Israel has to do what it has to do to try to get rid of that last vestige of Hamas.
Eli, I think you are right. The only way to finish this is to go through it. And they're going to, because they've got to. And in fact, that cancer analogy, I believe, was